So, to start off with, if I can get you to say your name, 3 words to describe the sport of rugby, and how long you've been playing, which I know isn't very long, but that's absolutely fine. Off you go.
Siobhan Smith is my name. 3 words to describe rugby: passionate, exciting and inclusive. And I've been playing rugby since last week, like contact rugby. I played a bit of touch or tag rugby, but never had the opportunities to play. So yeah, I'm new to it, but so far loving it.
Okay, so my documentary is about how we are continuing the conversation of women's rugby and how we continue to get women involved, young girls involved, just people involved in the sport of rugby in general, but with a particular focus on like the women's side. So what made you want to get involved in the sport of rugby?
Yeah, so I've played lots of sports. I play football at the minute, but also basketball, cricket, hockey, netball, and rugby was always a sport that I watched growing up as a kid. I used to have tickets to watch the Northampton Saints, which is around the corner, but there wasn't really any setup around when I was younger, and I recently moved back, and I actually met one of the players in the pub randomly. I heard her chatting about it and how amazing it was, so I just spoke to her and she was super inclusive, invited me, and yeah, so I think it's kind of about having conversations about women's rugby and knowing if there's opportunities around. I'm still trying and figuring it out, but yeah, so far I really like it.
And obviously, as you said, you play a lot of different sports. What was it about rugby that kind of drew you in?
Yeah, so I think there's this more team spirit with rugby. You have that with other team sports, but it feels like you can't really play, you can't be just a good individual, you have to be surrounded by a good team that you respect and have each other's back. So that's for me is why, yeah, rugby is kind of interesting and I wanted to play, yeah.
And then kind of on this, it might be a bit harder for you to answer because you have only been playing like properly a week. What is it that you think needs to happen to kind of carry on that conversation, to be able to get women to kind of realise that it wasn't just the World Cup, rugby's still happening today? Like, what do you think needs to happen so more people like you, like obviously you said you heard it in a pub and you come down and enjoyed it, what more needs to be done from that side?
So the comparison that I can make is maybe with the women's football in terms of it being then offered at school. When I was at school it wasn't offered. I'm not sure how much women's rugby is offered, but that would be definitely something that I think from a young age, knowing it's available for women. And maybe then also kind of cross-sport relations, let's say, so with football teams or with other sports, engaging with women who play sport in general to give people or women options that rugby is available to them.
And is there anything else you would like to tell me about your stories within sport, about the sport of rugby, about what you think, about conversations about women's rugby, about the World Cup, anything else you want to kind of share and discuss? It's all right.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think we've covered your journey. We've covered why you think it should carry on growing. Actually, just on what you were saying about getting it involved in schools, do you think if women's rugby had been introduced earlier on in your life, kind of if you'd been able to play it at like high school, for example, do you think you would have got involved in the sport earlier?
I think possibly, yeah. I mean, I even would say the same about football. I think it's kind of, when I was at school, gendered sports, right? So women play netball and hockey and rounders, whereas the boys play football, rugby, cricket. And I got into cricket from such a young age because I had the opportunities of my primary school headmaster was really into cricket and he let all the girls and boys play. So if it was kind of that environment in which, rugby is, it's, even though you're a girl or a woman, rugby is kind of fine to play and you should play, more encouraged, then I think, it would be better if it was in school a bit more. But I don't know how it is now.
That's absolutely fine.